everybody. Welcome to a Monday morning edition of Box Seats. I'm your host, Frank Holder. Good morning to you. It's a great morning for the week after the weekend, especially if your team won. My team didn't win over the weekend, so it ain't that great for me. But anyway, this is the show where we talk sports with comedians. Let me bring in a couple of the comedians who've been traveling around the world. They've done all kinds of different things. They've been in films. They've been in festivals. They've been in commercials. They're still even doing comedy shows right now. First up is my man Talent. He did some great stuff over the weekend, including watching basketball. Talent, how you doing today, brother? How's everything? Everything good?
I'm fantastic, man. How was your weekend? Good?
Let's not talk about my weekend. Don't worry about it. Now you want to ask me how my weekend is. Let me bring in my man Fig. Fig, how everything good? Everything good for you? You know how he asked me how my weekend was first thing when he know the Celtics lost. Never asked me before, but all of a sudden he want to ask me.
Hey, man, let me tell you this. It was 8 games of pure basketball pleasure for me, man. I'm in my glory during the playoffs, man. I love it.
Yeah, I have to say, I absolutely loved it. I watched all the games this weekend. Some of them I watched on tape delay because I couldn't watch them live. But so I got to be honest with you, this is one of the best NBA weekends I've seen in a long time. I mean, hands down. I want to jump into the NBA games first, but you know what I got to do first, fellas? I got to do the COVID report first, and I'm gonna breeze through that. Yeah, I don't even think we don't need to put some comments on that because we got a lot to talk about and everything else. But last week we were talking about organizers and Olympics, talking about possibly having a resistance to get this, and news came out this morning that the organizers are now seeing how they can finalize and postpone the Summer Olympics in Japan and see if they can move it either later this year or early next year. So I know there's no surprise with that. Now, the first thing that I jumped off the page this morning when I obviously was looking into the news, first thing, and I want to talk about the NBA again later, but the first thing that really shocked me was because we talked to Donovan Mitchell Sr. a couple weeks ago, I kind of got surprised. I don't know about you, Talent, but when I saw Donovan Mitchell, when I saw he didn't play in the game this weekend, I was surprised at that. And then this morning, news came out that he is extremely upset at the Jazz. He's incensed, quote unquote, incensed that he didn't play and he was ready to play. I'm kind of shocked at that news, Talent. What's your thoughts when you first heard about that?
Well, I'm not shocked. I mean, first of all, it's double painful. You want to be out there with your team, and if you got that kind of belief in his team, because they are in first place, Frank. So I'm sure he believes his team should have won that game. There's no ifs and buts about it, and they didn't. So that makes you double upset now because you're upset, you're painful because you can't be a part of it. But even though you're not a part of it, you expect them to win, and they don't win. Problemo number 2. So I get it. I get it. I mean, but is that going to parlay into I'm upset with my team, I want to leave? I don't know. Mm-hmm. But I understand it, though.
All right, Fig, what's your thoughts?
I think it's par for the course, man. It's the kind of mentality and attitude that I like in my my athletes, my players, because players want to play all the time. Yeah. I remember years ago, Michael Jordan, when he was coming off his injury, they had him on a minutes restriction, and I believe it was like the end of a game or something like that. And because of the minute restriction, they wouldn't let him in, and they end up losing the game. And Michael Jordan, he was just incensed. When you think about players coming off an injury, and even this year, Kevin Durant, they took him out of the game. You know, players are actually frustrated with the fact that the organizations, have them sitting out on minutes restrictions and stuff like that. Players simply just want to play. I understand it, and I actually love that coming from him.
I do too. It's the sign of a great player. We're gonna come back to the NBA, but I have to jump out and talk to you about this, guys. I saw the news this morning that Eugene Chung is alleging that the NFL basically blocked him from trying to get a great job that he thought he was in line for within the NFL. So he's suing the NFL themselves overall. He's suing the commissioner. He's suing everybody else. He's suing because he got told in a job interview he's not the right minority, quote unquote. Now we all know how big. We all know how big the NFL is. Talent. What do you think his chances are when you hear that former NFL player, former coach is getting ready to sue the NFL?
Well, he got great chances if he can prove that was said to him. That's an open and shut. Mm-hmm. You're not the right minority. You can't tell nobody that. Not no damn job interview. You can't. Can you imagine? Okay. You Asian black. Yeah, you're not what we look. We need regular black.
Fake, what's your thoughts?
I think they was trying to get him to put on a dress. They was trying to get the transgender female black guy all at the same time. Yo,
What?
what do you mean you're not the right minority? I thought you're supposed to hire the best person for the job. Like, what? Yo, man, this new world, like, I just don't understand, man. I don't understand that somebody can actually fix their mouth to say something like that, man. It's just beyond me. You qualify for the job, but you ain't got the complexion for the protection. You just can't. I can't hire you.
Ain't that the truth? Now, if he can prove it, I'll say this: it's like Talon said, it's an open and shut thing. Like it's a wrap. Like, he can get millions for that. He might not ever have to work again. You know what I mean? He really could get millions. Next thing I want to talk about before we talk about the NBA, man, is the NBA Africa was unveiled this weekend. There's every African player who's formerly in the NBA, from Mutombo and all these dudes, they all are coming out and talking great things about it. Actually, Mutombo said that there are a couple of NBA Africa players who could play in the NBA right now. Like he said that there could be some teams. He said there's a couple of other 6'8", 6'9", 7-footers who literally could play in the NBA right now. Now, talent. The thing is some of these NBA Africa players haven't even been playing ball longer than 5 years. What's your thought?
It don't even matter. If this is coming from Mutombo, remember, this man built a school over there. Don't be surprised that he's been training and growing these dudes.
Right.
Like he has the inside scoop, to be honest with you. Like people that come from somewhere, like he don't even have to, like everybody else needs scouts. He came from there. He know what's there. It's like, I could compare this to like Yonkers and Mount Vernon on the music scene. That's why Heavy D, God bless the dead, became an executive because he knew of all the talent that he had behind him. He knew all the stuff that he could help put out and all this money and record sales and all that stuff like that. So I look at this like Mutombo is like, I left from over here. Like, I know what I left. I know what's back there. So I want to invest in this. I'm going to build a school and I'm going to start being that funnel to kind of, so to speak, bring these things forth because now he's at the executive level.
Yes, sir. Fig, what's your thoughts?
Man, I think I believe it 100%. And a lot of those guys that come from overseas, I think their first sport is soccer. They call it football over there.
Right.
So they usually have great endurance, which you definitely need to play soccer. And of course, some of these guys are really tall, 6'8" and above, and they don't really learn to play basketball until late in life because they're not introduced to it. But the guys that were, even though they were introduced late in life, they excel. If you think about guys like Serge Ibaka, Hakimi Olajuwon, I think Joel Embiid just started playing basketball. So for him to say that a lot of these guys could really come and make an impact right now, I believe it 100%.
Yeah, I have to say I believe it too, but it also shows you that some people play certain sports and it comes really naturally. You know what I mean? Like some of them just really comes to the thing where you're saying, okay, wow. So, soccer comes naturally to a certain type of nationalities of players, and basketball comes to certain nationality players too. Now, here's the next thing I want to talk to you on. Hot topic, okay? Hot topic, because again, you know how I am all the time. I find stories nobody else is talking about, and I ain't see this story talked about anywhere all weekend long. But I'm gonna throw it to you, Talent, first. We remember how we were talking about the overtime league with the high school basketball players, and overtime league getting ready to move these high school basketball players who are paid, and then they're gonna move them to obviously overseas to play overseas ball, and then they have the opportunity to come back into the NBA. Well, check this out. This morning, I saw a story that the 6 top high schools in this country, like Oak Hill Academy, a couple other academies and stuff like that, they all are coming together, forming their own league, not playing the players, but giving the opportunity for the players to supposedly get a first look to go to the G League and then the NBA and college if they want to. But they're forming their own league in particular to make sure that they can keep some of these high school players from going to these other leagues that are so-called paying them. When you hear the story,
wait a minute, who's paying? Who's starting their own league now?
the 6 high schools, the 6 top high schools in the country that right now get the best basketball players in the country. But key point is they're not paying these players. I'm sure you guys can see right through this. They're not paying these players. Now, before I even throw it to you guys, this is what I think. Okay, you know how this is my Pelican brief. My Pelican brief is the NCAA called these high schools, formed up this thing. So let's look at this. Let's see if we can funnel these dudes to go through you and give them a so-called first look to get to the G League and then potentially to the NBA. Let's offer them something because we ain't gonna pay. That's my Pelican brief. You know what I mean? Now I don't know what you guys think, but the NCAA is trying to fight this. And why else would the 6 top high schools come together to form their own league? You know what I mean?
I agree with you. I agree with you. It makes all the sense in the world. That's a hell of a Pelican brief, bro. That's Denzel-ish, huh? That's Denzel-ish. That's a hell of a Pelican brief. That is so believable and seems so obvious. But here's what's going to happen, man. It's my money, and I want it now. J.G. Wentworth, need cash money right now. It's my money, and I want it now. Look, show me the money. Like, I don't think you can. What do you want? What do you think you're gonna do? Win by prestige?
Right.
These kids and kids to come behind them, and kids that we've seen come out for decade after decade after decade after for 100 years have been crying the same thing from college, especially college. Pay us. Why we can't get paid? You know, there's no guarantee we're gonna go whatever number to the NBA, to the professional league. There's no guarantee I'm gonna be the next Lillard or LeBron or, you know. So they've been waiting all this time to get paid. Here comes the league and say, you know what, we're gonna pay. And then here comes this school coalition. Hey man, don't go get that, Mike. Come over here, get first look. You know, we got the hookup. We know so and so. We know so and so. Man, let me tell you something. We all know the predominant person, ethnicity to come through going to be minorities.
Yeah.
Have you seen these commercials? All the minorities. It's my money and I want it now.
Fake, what you think?
Call J.G. Wentworth. 888-877 cash now. 877 cash now. 877 cash now. Yo, man, listen. I can't eat a promise. I can't eat a promise. Here's a guy that got a bowl of money on the table and said, here, I'm going to get this to you just to play in this high school league. And you got these guys over here that basically got a promise. Man, my family is starving, dude. My family is starving. There's 10 of us living in a 3-bedroom apartment. It's falling apart. The pipes are leaking. You know, mama's on food stamps. You can hardly feed us. And here we got these persons saying, well, listen, we're going to get you out right now. We're going to give you some money. All you got to do is play. They're going for the money.
Right.
I mean, at the end of the day, everybody that's unfortunately, everybody that is in an impoverished type situation are always given the bad deals.
Right.
You give them the record deals are bad. They give you a boatload of cash and they make you sign these contracts and you don't know that on the end, you're going to have to pay this money back. Oh, you want a car? I'm going to give you a car. Or I'm going to give you a refrigerator, but I can't eat that. I think they go for the money, man. I think they go for the money. And I believe, Frank, your Pelican brief is not really a Pelican brief at all. I think those high schools and the NCAA got together and they're trying to derail this other league. That's exactly what's happening.
I think so too, but you got the quote of the month, or I can't eat a promise. Like that's the quote of the month,
dude. Like for real. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you can't. Nobody can eat a promise.
Forget eating it. I can't pass it to my landlord.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, that's true too. But you know, oh wow, okay. Wow, of course, big news. Big news keeps dropping on this morning, man. So let me jump into the next big news item that just started flash across my phone. Let me bring Rodney Perry in here too. Rodney Perry, how you doing today? I hope you had a great weekend, brother. Let's jump into the two big news items I saw this morning. One, actually, the one just 1 second ago. The other one I'm going to talk to you both about. Aaron Rodgers did not report the team activities this morning, and Deshaun Watson didn't report the team activities this morning. So it looks like both these dudes are forcing their way out of being able to play for their respective teams. So I'm going to start with you, Talent. Any surprise with Aaron Rodgers or Deshaun Watson not reporting for their team?
Zero surprises by me. You're talking about the Texans. He didn't report to the team activities with the Texans. Yeah, because he was at the Jets facility.
Oh, he was at the Jets? Oh.
Yeah, he made that one. No, I'm not surprised. We've been talking about this over the last couple of weeks, and definitely Aaron Rodgers is not a surprise. And then after the recent developments of the past week of these young ladies and retractions and that quieting down, that makes me also not be surprised on the Texan side with Deshaun Watson. What's going to be surprising is it's Monday now. I think we'll have news by the time our Friday show rolls around, before about the latest Friday.
Okay, Fig, what's your thoughts?
The truth is that Deshaun Watson and Aaron Rodgers got together and rented the yacht that Odell Beckham Jr. had before the Super Bowl, and they got about 25 masseuses on there that have signed waivers that they're willing to massage unconditionally. Man, crazy, man. Yo, man, listen. At the end of the day, these guys really always had the power, but you just didn't know it. And now they're realizing the amount of power and leverage that they have against these other teams, and they're exercising it. It's as simple as that. And I can't blame them.
No doubt. Rodney Perry, what's your thoughts?
I mean, I think this is we're gonna look down the line years from now, and because of the power that these guys are wielding, they're gonna start giving quarterbacks less and less power. So I'm excited for what's happening, but just looking down into the future, it's gonna be even harder for QBs to do anything later, I think.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that too, but it does say a lot. When Aaron Rodgers does not report to camp, and of course, with Deshaun Watson doesn't report to camp, we all know that it looks like something definitely is getting ready to happen. Also, in other news, still staying in football, Julio Jones went and told the team months ago, Talent. He told the team months ago he wants out of there. The team now, it looks like Atlanta is sitting there trying to get a first-round draft pick for him. He said he wants to go to New England and possibly Baltimore, but New England is his first choice where he wants to go because he wants to play with Cam Newton. Talent, when you hear that, what's your thoughts?
Ooh, I like that. I still hate your team, Frank, but I like that. all due respect. When people say all due respect or no disrespect, disrespect is coming.
Right after that.
No disrespect, but I hate your team, right?
Yeah.
But I love that combination. I just love that Cam Newton, and that's where he wants to go. He wants to play with Cam. That is, you know what that is, man? That is putting the black fist up at the Olympics.
Yeah.
That's two powerful people at their positions, brothers, that are saying, you know what? I want to do that. More power to them. I'm with that. I like that.
Okay. Fig, what you think?
Yeah, man, I like that, man, because it's like I think they teaming up, like Voltron, and they're going up against Thomas Edward Patrick Brady. I mean, that dude got a Super Bowl because he put a whole bunch of dope position players on his team, and he was able to get over the hump. And it was like, yo, man, if I team up with Cam and Belichick's defense and all these guys that he's put together to fill in the holes that this team had last year that finished quite high to have a deficit of talent, I think that let me tell you something. this NFL season is going to be really interesting, man. I can't wait until it starts myself.
Me neither. Ronnie Perry, what you think?
You said he might want to go to Baltimore too, didn't you?
Yep.
I mean, he obviously wants a black athletic quarterback, somebody that's equal to him skill wise, and I mean, and that's okay. I mean, he's been over here with Matt Ryan. Matt has not got it done. He's just about wasted a whole career. He's like the pretty girl that marries the okay looking guy, and one day wakes up and realizes that, hey, you just okay looking, and so now he wants to go and get a bad chick.
Yeah. I think that's exactly what it boils down to. At the end of the day, it boils down to him wanting to play for a good team with a good team.
Nah, hold up, man. Rodney, we're gonna leave my personal life out of this. I know I outkicked my coverage, but you're not gonna just be talking about me and my wife like that. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? Forget that. I win. So what? My wife is way better looking than I am. That's besides the point, and you don't have to bring it up on the show.
I was actually talking about myself, but okay.
All right, let's talk about the NBA because we got a lot to cover with the NBA, man. But the NBA was an exciting weekend this weekend. To me, I think there was two games that stood out to me. It was the Lakers game and the Knicks game as the two best games over the weekend. And I'm going to start with the Lakers first. I'm going to start with you, Talent. The Lakers, they lost to Phoenix. It was a lot going on in that game. Chris Paul got hurt in that game. He hurt his shoulder. It looked like his right shoulder contusion and everything else. But first of all, before I even ask you questions, what's your thoughts about the Lakers-Phoenix game? Was it as competitive as you thought it was going to be? Were you surprised? And what was your takeaways from the Lakers-Phoenix game?
No, it was wonderful. It was beautiful. It was everything. It was cracked up. Everything I expected to see, I got to see. I got to see 2 Academy Awards go to LeBron. Best actor and best director. And then Phoenix got best soundtrack. But here's the thing. Everything went the way it was. I wanted it to go to the wire. I wanted it to be competitive. But more importantly, I wanted Chris Paul to do his thing. I'm so glad that whatever happened to him, he was able to come back out.
Mm-hmm.
Twice he got hit hard and it looked like maybe he could sit out, but he sat out for a few minutes. He came back, finished the game, and the usual suspects pretty much shined for the most part. So I love the game.
Yeah, that was your takeaway. Fig, what was your takeaway from the game?
Yeah, man. That what me and you was saying from the bubble last year, that Phoenix Suns team being able to go 8-0, put the NBA and the Western Conference on notice that we have arrived and we'll see you next season, which is this season in the playoff. And I felt like we got everything that we thought could possibly happen with that team playing as well as they did, man. I just was like, I expected them to play well. I really did. And they did. They showed up and showed out, even with a one-arm Chris Paul.
Right. Okay. Rodney Perry, what was your takeaway from the game?
Devin Booker is definitely the truth. You got to take your hat off to the guy. He played really well. But calm down. Okay. Oh, I saw. How do Tyler use the word wonderful? Wonderful? Wonderful. Oh, I thought it was wonderful. Okay, great. Look, it was a great game, and you're supposed to play good at this level.
Mm-hmm.
You're just supposed to. And so it is a 7-game series. So, gentlemen, calm down.
All right. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Frank predicted a sweep.
No, I did not. I said 5.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to hear it out loud.
Yeah, I said 5.
Out loud.
I said Phoenix in 5. But go ahead.
Okay. So, but I think the way Phoenix played really shocked the Lakers, and they looked a little fatigued. And so we'll see on this game too. But again, Lakers are better than anybody at adjusting to a team after they get tape on them. So we'll see.
All right, my takeaway from the game. I know we all do our takeaways. My takeaway from the game is that Phoenix bench is very deep, and the Lakers are already missing their bench that they had last year. Especially was it Danny Green? Was it Danny Green they had last year? They don't have a 3-point shooting. They didn't have people be able to come off the bench. They're gonna miss Rajon Rondo, and I didn't even realize how deep Phoenix's bench was. But yesterday it came out and showed. So I think, in my opinion, Chris Paul's going to be a decoy from this series on, you know what I mean, because he's hurt. But I think their bench might hold them. I don't think they're going to win the championship, but I think they're going to get past the Lakers. That's just my thought. So I'm gonna ask you one more time, Talent. I'm going to swing back around with you and say, do you think that this game one will lead the Phoenix Suns to victory over the Lakers, or do you think it's just one game and don't worry about it? What's your thoughts, Talent?
No, I think the first thing Phoenix had to do is get a win.
Right.
And the fact that they got it in game one, that's your momentum starter right there. That's your belief. Everybody needs that mental thing that, like, we can beat these guys. Mm-hmm. And what better game to get it in than starting the series, game one? So it's not far-fetched. I think I put $50 on the sweep last night watching the game.
Oh, wow. Okay. Fig, what's your thought? You think the Phoenix can come in here? Was the game one something they can build off of? Do you think you can hold your horses? What you think about the Lakers Phoenix series right now? Should we build off it, or what do you think?
Well, here's the thing. Phoenix is definitely a talented team. They have all the talent in the world. Now what they have is confidence. Mm-hmm. The thing is that, the Lakers, I would imagine to anybody, any team in the league, they're seen as the giant. LeBron James has been the face of the NBA for maybe the past 18 years. And then you have a top 5 player like Anthony Davis. And then you have to face these guys in a playoff type situation. And even though you're talented, I'm sure you have your doubts. You know what I mean? You're a young team. You're very talented, but you got your doubts. And you got Monty Williams in your ear telling you, look, man, we're talented. We can beat this team. This is the scheme. And then you go out and execute, and you're able to do what it is that you're able to do, and you're able to beat that team. Now you got an extra level of confidence going into game two. And I really believe that the Lakers are going to have their hands full, because DeAndre Ayton, Devin Booker, and Chris Paul, I think Chris Paul, what he got yesterday was what they call a stinger, and that's something that will go away, and I believe that he'll be all right by game two. So I think the Lakers are going to have their hands full.
Rodney Perry, pump our brakes. What do you think?
I'm pretty sure I just said that a couple of seconds ago. Again, calm down. This is a 7-game series. So that means that, according to Frank, that the Suns are going to lose at least one of these games. Mm-hmm. So is it going to be the next game or the game after that? We don't know. But what we do know is, based on NBA tradition, it's very hard to unseed the incumbent, the guy that was the guy that was the best the year before. Could it happen? The Lakers are banged up. Absolutely, they get beat, but you still got to concede that LeBron is still the best player in the world, not Devin Booker. Devin Booker? No,
LeBron is not.
No, I'm not talking. It's my turn. AD is yet to show up in these playoffs. So when the guys get here, it's going to be hard for the Suns. Period.
All right. That's Rodney's take. All right, let's move on to the next game. The next game we saw, and I probably think that one of the games that had the most energy all weekend long was the Knicks playing against the Hawks. I'm gonna start out by saying I
beg to differ, but
okay. All right. Well, you beg to differ. Let me finish.
Nobody gave a shit about this game.
Can I finish? Let me finish, Rodney. Let me finish. The Knicks played the Hawks. The Knicks and the Hawks. My takeaway from this game, after looking at the game and everything else, is I think the series is definitely going to go to 7 games. To me, it was one of the most even series I've seen all weekend. You know what I mean? Like, it could go either way. But my takeaway is that if the Knicks don't figure out how to stop the Hawks, they're not going to get past the Hawks. But anyway, Talon, what's your thoughts on the Knicks series as they lost to the Hawks last night?
Not even that deep, Frank. Let me explain something to you.
Okay.
When you beat, or I should say, when my team loses to a team by one bucket, and it happens to be the game that my star player is struggling in, I'm not worried. If my star player put up 30, 40 points and they beat us, I'm worried. But the fact that he has a bad game and you only win by 2, I'm still comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's going 7 games. I did think it was a great game. I do think the youth of Atlanta and the energy is going to be a challenging series, but not to the point or to the tune of 7 games. I say 5 or 6. That's it.
5 or 6 games. Okay. All right. Fig, what you think?
Man, I wish I was as confident as Talent, man, but I'm not. But the one thing that I'm talking about in the ultimate outcome being 5 or 6 games, I think it may go 7. Reason being is that, like I said with Phoenix, although the Knicks beat up on Atlanta during the regular season, them coming into the Garden and having those rabid fans going at you, it gave that team confidence. The one thing that I do agree with is that Julius Randle did have a bad game. I think he scored maybe 15 points, something like that, really, really low. And he's our leading scorer, 30-plus points a game. The fact that he played so poorly, I think that he'll bounce back because that's a testament to who he is and the work that he put in. So I don't think that we're going to lose the series, but I think it's going to be a dogfight because Atlanta has confidence now, and they got some talent. I mean, let's Nick McMillan did an excellent job with them coaching, and they have some talented players over there. As much as I hate Trey Young, I hate that kid with a passion almost as much as I did Michael Jordan back in the day when he was beating us, and what happened yesterday makes me hate him even more. If he tripped and fell on his head and all his hair fell out, a la LeBron James, I wouldn't lose any sleep over it.
Woo, that's a lot of hate. Rodney Perry, what's your thoughts?
It's really interesting to see the vitriol these guys have for the Lakers, even in their own disgust. They find a way to weave in some LeBron hate. It's just interesting to me, but that's neither here nor there. I like the Knicks. I think the Knicks are poised to be really good next year. Yeah. Atlanta and the Knicks are both bottom of the barrel teams. And so they'll go probably 7 games in this battle. This is it for both of them, though. After this, it's over. Ain't going to be no deep run into the playoffs. They lucky they got each other. The Knicks should be called Atlanta. Ooh, I'm glad we get to play y'all because otherwise we got to ask go up.
The 4 and the 5, and you call it the bottom of the barrel.
Yes, I did.
At 4 and 5.
Yes, I did.
That's so disrespectful. You know what?
Well, I'm trying to be disrespectful.
The hell with your hat.
I'm trying to be disrespectful.
You think because you went from Gilligan's Island to the Avengers, you're going to say something with these facts?
I'm trying to figure out how to be more disrespectful.
Yo,
you see who was at the game? They dug out all the old New Yorkers. Tracy Morgan was at the game. Alicia Keys, Lindsay Lohan, 50 Cent, Nicki Minaj, all at the game.
I tell you one thing.
They know they're not going to no more games for a while.
Speaking of everybody at the game, yo, it's bullshit that they only have 15,000 people.
That's hilarious, bro.
Tyler was outside. Like, what? So I can't get in? Okay.
Yo, man, but listen, those are all New York-based stars. And you know what, Rodney? For you to call my Knicks the bottom of the barrel
for the city.
You mean after you call my Knicks the bottom of the barrel after they got the 4th seed, man, that is just horrible. But you know what? Talking about your Lakers, you know what we ain't saying about your Lakers? Everybody talk about how poorly Anthony Davis played. And that's the problem with the Lakers right now. LeBron James is still considered to be the best player in the world. He scored 18 points, and nobody's talking about LeBron James this week. Everybody's talking about Anthony Davis. That's why big time players do not want to go and play with LeBron James.
Okay.
Because they become scapegoats when they lose.
All right, but I don't want to talk about the Lakers right now. We got to talk about the rest of the games. Let's talk about the rest of the games. Let me move on now to the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies ended up beating and surprising the Utah Jazz yesterday. And I'm gonna say this: I never even heard of Dylan Brooks. Yeah, I didn't even know who this kid was. Talent. I ain't watched too many Grizzly games, but a star was born yesterday. You know what I mean? The Grizzly. Utah Jazz better figure out how to stop this dude, bro, because Utah could have some serious problems. You know what I mean?
I think it's a fluke. You didn't hear about him because it's a fluke.
Oh, okay.
Anybody that play playground ball, right? And you say you go every Sunday, you guys get together at 11 a.m. and run some full courts. That bum dude one day gonna have a great day. He gonna hit some miraculous joints when his point game. He might win the game. Lucky off the back. Well, this dude. The reason you ain't hear about him, that was a fluke of a playoff game for him. Watch this dude get erased real fast. Because I could tell by how he was scoring and how he was reacting, he was shocking his damn self.
Mm-hmm.
Half of them shots, he get finished, especially the end ones. He get that foul, he was like, And he's so new to scoring, he didn't know where the camera was. See? Real bona fide scorers and stars, they always know where the camera is.
Yeah.
They always do some antics, some great celebration, they pull it, and all that, and they come into the camera, and Mutombo used to but this dude, he scored and was like, yeah. Oh, there you go, yeah. I was like, he's not used to it. He's shocking his damn self. He will get erased, Frank, guaranteed.
All right, well, I will say this. It was shocking that Utah missed 35 threes. They ain't going to miss 35 threes the next game. They ain't going to do that. Fig, what's your thoughts?
You know what? My son told me about Dylan Brooks, and he said this kid was a baller. I looked him up. Dylan Brooks averaged 17.2 points a game during the regular season. He had it looked like a couple of 30-point games,
Right.
and mostly 20-point games. Like he averages around close to 20 points a game. I think this kid may have had a coming out party, man. It just may be that. Like we talk about fights sometime, and we say matchups make the fight. Maybe this kid just got a good matchup where you can't do nothing with him.
Yeah, he did say nobody can stop him. He did say that. Rodney Prey, what's your thoughts?
Man, I like the cat. He looked like a giant J. Cole. The guy came out there and he balled, man.
Yeah, he did.
Let's not forget. We've been watching Memphis for the last week. I don't know about y'all. Memphis just on my radar, but Memphis is good. This kid John Morant is the truth. Valanciunas is the truth. Man, these guys are scrappy as hell, and guess what? They better than the Knicks.
I'm not going there with you, Rodney. If I go there with you, Rodney, I'm not going there with you. Let me talk about the next team. I'm gonna throw it to you, Talent. After watching this weekend game, I'm gonna say this officially for this. I think the Clippers are in serious trouble. Like I mean, serious trouble because they just don't have the same cohesiveness that they had last year, man. It looked like they're getting ready to fall really far off the cliff. Talent, what's your thoughts about after the Clippers lost this weekend?
I agree with you, Frank. I think they're in serious trouble for the same reasons I said the Lakers are. That game one in those series where you have these powerhouse teams, and see, this is the difference in the Lakers, the Clippers, and the Knicks. The Knicks are brand new back there. You know what I mean? They're not considered a powerhouse. They're a sleeper, actually. The Lakers came in off a championship favorite. The Clippers came favorite last year. Now some get back and all that. They're favorite again. When you beat those teams and when they fall in game one of these 7-game series, especially round one, you make a statement. I think just like I said about the Lakers, them winning game one is the scariest thing they could have did because you're giving these guys the mental gusto to know that they can beat you and everything else becomes easy. Now your shots are falling, you're hitting more threes, you're not scared to gamble, take a chance on things, your defense is clicking on all cylinders. I think they're in trouble too.
I think they're in trouble. Fig, what you think?
I'm not so sure, man. And I'm gonna tell you why. Luka Doncic is pretty much the Mavericks. If you cut off the head of the snake, I think the rest of the guys is beatable. You got Porzingis, you got Finley, Hardaway, Brunson. I mean, you got some guys, you know what I mean? But none of those guys are anything to speak of, you know what I mean, as far as star power. Actually, on the other side, you have a couple of bona fide dudes, you know what I mean? So if you can figure out a way, which I believe that Ty Lue could do, I think Ty Lue will figure out a way to you're not going to stop him. You can't stop a great player, but you can neutralize his effectiveness. You know what I mean? If you cut off Luka Doncic, I think these guys are beatable. I think they fall down to the middle of the road team and they're really beatable. They just let him go off for 31, 10, and 11. He got a triple-double yesterday. They let Luka Doncic literally lead Dallas over them. I think you double and triple team him like they did Steph Curry and let the rest of these guys beat you if they can.
Rodney Prey, what's your thoughts, bro?
Well, you're looking at a classic case of a team being offended. Okay, this team, you look up and the Clippers are losing games to get to you. You're pissed. So you say, you know what? Y'all want to get to us? We'll give your ass everything. And so that's what we saw. And can you maintain that for 7 games? Again, these 1 games, that's great. But until you get 3 games under your belt, everybody need to calm down. Everybody calm down.
Okay, all right. So all right, Roddy's on that. It's just 1 game. Roddy's like most NBA experts. It's just 1 game. You didn't see nothing from 1 game. All right, so saying that, I'm gonna throw this to you guys. I'm gonna start with you, Talent. The Bucks have beaten the Heat 3 out of 4 times. Actually, 3 times. Yeah, 3 out of 4 times this year. Then the Bucks came in game 1, and the Bucks beat the Heat again. So I'm gonna ask you this. I'm gonna say, did the Bucks figure out the Heat this year? Is that what do you think, Talent? And are they concerned, or they got them figured out now? They know how they got.
I don't think it's figured out. This is going to swing back and forth. You can tell by the heroics towards the end of the game. Like, to figure out a team, I think in this day and age, you have to have a very comfortable 10, 12, 14-point cushion. If you're playing 3 quarters, 3.5 quarters, almost 4 quarters, and that game's still swinging back and forth 2 to 6 points, you ain't figuring nobody out. It's still anybody's game. 6 points is still 2 shots away from tying it up and going into overtime. You see, we've been watching overtimes, and we just getting started in the playoffs.
Right.
I don't think they got them figured out. I think they know they can beat them when they're clicking, but we've seen from last year, we've seen games where even teams like Milwaukee have those nights that they're not clicking. That's why it's a 7-game series, man.
All right, Fig, what's your thoughts?
That was a tight one yesterday, and I think these guys they went to overtime. I think they're pretty evenly matched. At the end of the day, I really believe that the Bucks get over the hump this time, just because of the way that they're playing now. I think Middleton has come into his own. Giannis is Giannis. He's still the same, and Holiday is a different kind of dude, scoring 20 points, and I don't think that you're going to be able to hold PJ Tucker to a donut every single game. I think PJ Tucker will probably play better, and I think that Milwaukee will get over the hump this time and move on.
I do too. Rodney Perry, what's your thoughts?
Man, I mean, you know what? These two teams are turning into a rivalry. We talk about 17 lead changes during the course of this game. 16 times they was tied. You know what they lacked last year? They was able to blitz. They was able to blitz Giannis, but Chris Middleton emerging as a closer for them, that really makes Milwaukee better. And Milwaukee is a better team than they've been in the past. And because of that, I think they'll get past the series. But this series will go all the way. I'm talking about, we look at 7 games.
Okay. Now let me ask you guys this, man. After seeing game 1, I know it's only game 1, but I want to ask you all this. If you had, and I'm going to say if you had to pick an upset series this weekend, after you saw only game 1, if you had to pick talent, what series would you say that everybody's picking one way that you think, you know what, this team might surprise you? Who would your team be in Series B? Who would that be for you, Talent?
I think that would be again. I just bet $50 on a sweep over the Lakers.
Okay.
I think that they'll upset them.
Okay, Rodney Perry, who do you think that your upset pick could be if you had to pick an upset pick?
I mean, the biggest upset would be Boston, Brooklyn. That would be the biggest upset. You know, like nobody is picking against the Lakers. The Phoenix Suns ain't even picked to win, and they a higher seed. So that's not an upset. So, but if Boston could figure it out, I mean, they had moments where they looked really good in this game against Brooklyn, man. But I mean, you just always felt like they was going to erupt and catch up and do their thing, and they did. So that would be a big upset for me.
Okay, Fig, what you think? Who would be the biggest upset for you?
I got to tell Rodney before I tell my upset. There still is no sex in the champagne room. I don't care how much money you got. There's no sex in the champagne room. I got Phoenix, man, because that's what we've been saying all along. Well, you and I, Frank, for sure. We saw something in Phoenix in the bubble, and I think that kid Devin Booker, because he was in Phoenix, nobody really gave him a good look, and he hasn't been in the bright lights on the biggest stage. And I think we're starting to see some flashes of greatness come out of this kid, man. And believe it or not, I think he could carry this team. I really do. He seems like he has that kind of talent.
Now, I think I posed the question to you guys because I wanted to bring up the Celtics and the Nets, because I think, like Rodney Perry said, everybody's picking the Lakers to beat the Lakers to beat the Suns, even though the Suns are the higher seed. But if the Celtics hadn't missed their last 11 shots and broke down the last 4 minutes of the game, they could have actually took that game 1. They could have. And to me, that probably would have been the biggest upset over the weekend. But so to me, I think I'm gonna say this. I think nobody expects the Celtics to win. I don't expect the Celtics to win. I don't see it happening, especially when the 2 stars of the team are not playing well. I think that could be the biggest upset. But I also want to say, and I'm going to throw it to you, Talent, I'm also going to say, even though you got $50 riding on Phoenix, I'm also going to say, if Phoenix loses to the Lakers right now, because that's a possibility. If Phoenix loses to the Lakers, do you think that they're maybe 2 or 3 steps away from still going to the whole thing in the next couple of years? Do you see them winning the NBA championship in the near future?
That's a hard one. As long as that team doesn't break up, if they can keep that team together for another season or 2, absolutely. But if you lose pieces, then you're just going to be another good team in the West. You know what I mean? But here's the thing, man. If the Lakers can muster it all up and beat Phoenix and move on, then we can have a serious conversation with Rodney Perry again.
Okay, Rodney Perry, what you think? Do you think Phoenix is 2 or 3 seasons away from winning the whole thing?
I mean, the eye test after one game would say yes. After one game, you're like, oh wow, those guys look really good. You know, those guys could they got a great seeding. It's a really interesting year because the reason the play-in series was interesting because the Lakers and Golden State was in it.
Right.
So when you look at that, you're like, okay, anybody can take an L, right? But when you expand into this 7-game series, you get that benefits the older team. So because you get to look at the team, you're like, okay, you get to put a magnifying glass on them, and I love you guys get your emotions involved in these games, man. You guys emotionally invested. Ooh, I want the Knicks to win. Ooh, I want the Lakers to lose. Take your emotions out. Look at this. Don't be emotional, Fig. Don't be emotional, Talent. The Lakers are really good, and they're there we go.
No, listen, go ahead, make your point.
Now they want to cut me.
Make your point.
Now they want to cut me.
Come on, man.
Everybody was doing cocaine. But look, no, I mean, do I like Phoenix coming down into the future? Absolutely. But we also look at Golden State are going to be back. These guys are clones of old teams. They're like Golden State right now. Chris Paul, his arm is just expired. His shoulder quit. He's done.
Okay.
So who's going to run this team?
All right, Fig, what's your thought?
I think, look, I hate to go this far, but to me, yesterday, Devin Booker showed some flashes of greatness. And I think this kid still has an upside. DeAndre Ayton showed some flashes of dominance as a big man. He has the mobility and the agility of a David Robinson. Can he shoot like AD? No. Can he dominate his position? The paint? Absolutely. Rebounds, block shots, and some layups, some dunks, whatever and stuff. I think those two guys are your centerpieces of a great future. Even if Chris Paul can't stand up or stand the test of time, you put some veterans around them and Monty Williams coaching, I think these guys could be the future. I think they have a great future in the Western Conference, man, if they can stay healthy and stay together. I do. They just look like it.
All right, Talent, tell everybody how they can follow you because the show's over, man. That's it. That's a wrap.
Damn, follow me, Talent the Comedian on IG. I'm at It's Just Comedy on Twitter and King Talent on Facebook. Bomb.
Okay. Fig, tell everybody how they can follow you.
You can follow your boy Comedian Fig at Comedian Fig back on all social media platforms because I'm out of Facebook jail. And Monday through Friday, box seats 1 to 2 p.m. This the best damn sports show on TV. I don't give a damn what nobody say. I'm about to say Frank broke his cup.
It's crazy because I was drinking Pepsi out mine too.
Hilarious. I'm a Knicks fan, win or lose until the wheels fall off, baby. Boxing.
Rodney Perry, how can we follow you, bro?
I'm easy to find, man. RodneyPerry.com is the website. Rodney Perry Live on all social media. It's one game, guys.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Tomorrow we got some great conversations. The NBA, of course, jumps off tonight. We got to talk about Phil Nicholson. We didn't get a chance to talk about that. And we got to finish this conversation tomorrow about the 6 high schools trying to knock out the overtime that we started early on in the show. I got more details coming in. I'm going to figure that out and figure out if they absolutely positively think that they can do it. And right now, it looks like on paper, they think they could actually beat out paying the high school kids. A lot of stuff to talk about. That's tomorrow's box seats. We'll be back. That's Talent. That's Rodney. That's Fig. I'm Frank. We'll see y'all tomorrow. The name of the show's Box Seats. The name of the channel is Humor Mill. Y'all take care. We'll see you tomorrow, 1 o'clock. Peace.